Hey everybody, Kris Gethin here, and this is the Knowledge and Mileage podcast. This isn't going to be too long. I won't waste too much of your time. It's a Sunday here, and I just spent about 2.5 hours out on the bike trainer because I have to stay quite static at the moment. Can't go out on the road because of my post-shoulder surgery will prevent me from putting too much weight onto the handlebar. So 2.5 hours out in the heat. I'm done. I want to chill. I want to relax, but I can't. I got to pack. I have a week of meetings in LA. So I got to fly out again first thing tomorrow morning, and then I go direct from there to the San Jose Fit Expo. So I got some errands to run here. Sunday isn't part of a weekend, W-E-A-K. It is just a normal weekend. So anyway, I want to talk about today prioritizing sacrifice over success. The reason why I want to bring this up is because I see more and more and more individuals trying to search for success. They run around like a headless chicken, wondering why they can't reach that success. They're scratching their heads, they're confused. And when they tell me these things, or they share their triumphs or a struggle and all that in between, I can see pretty much straight away why they haven't even sniffed any success. It's because none of these people are willing to sacrifice, so of course none of them have made any sacrifices. It's life, kiddos. You have to make a lot of hard sacrifices if you want to reach success. So I'm going to go through a quick list that I put together of some things that you can possibly do, some baby steps, in order for you to create more sacrifices in order to make that success. Because if you are somebody that's been hardwired by your mother, by your father, where they've done everything for you, they've paid for everything, they've pretty much nurtured you and babied you too much as a youngster, then of course it's going to be hard for you to make sacrifices because other people have made those sacrifices to make your life easy. Life ain't easy when you get out there by yourself. When you leave mommy and daddy's house, who's going to take care of you now? Nobody. So what have you got to do? Make sacrifices in order to take care of yourself and reach the success that he or she may constantly talk about. We all talk about it. We all want to have Insta fame. We all want the biggest following. We want the best videos. We want the best house, the nicest flash car, the best holidays. But how do you get it? Sacrifice. So, starting in the morning, you need to change your way of thinking, starting from the very smallest thing that you do. So as I mentioned before, I did 2.5 hours on the trainer. Now, that isn't just going to help me get a bit fitter. Today, it was a recovery day. So it was a very easy 2.5 hours. However, the hardest part of those 2.5 hours wasn't the physicality. It was the mental discipline to stay on that friggin' bike, on that tiny little saddle for 2.5 hours. Why would I do that? Easy, because I know it's going to condition me. It's going to help me not stop 1 rep short. It's going to help me not stop when I don't feel like it. It's going to help me not stop when it comes to a weekend and I got to work or a late evening, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of crossover here. So if I'm going onto that bike for 2.5 hours, not only is it going to get me better on the bike, that is going to transfer and transition into a better run. It's going to help me have a better swim because my cardio engine has been disciplined and it will be activated to participate in those disciplines. Get me? Anyway, so to begin with, first thing in the morning, what do? The alarm goes off for most of us. What is the second thing that a lot of people do? They hit the snooze button. Already, by hitting that snooze button, you are telling your subconscious, it's okay to procrastinate. It's okay to not be punctual. It's okay to put things off. It's okay to leave it until later. That is the worst thing that you can possibly do because what are you setting yourself up for? Not success. And you're not even making a sacrifice. You need to make the sacrifice to get your ass up with the intentions that you went to bed with. Like how many of you make an intention the night before, tomorrow I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, here's my plan. As soon as you wake up, you don't even get up at 4 a.m. You don't even get up at 5 because you've hit the snooze button, which has allowed you to go back to sleep. You need to wake up with a sense of urgency if you want to get to the goals that you've been dreaming about, that you've been talking about, that you've been boring me about, because you don't actually make the sacrifices to reach them. So do not hit that snooze button. Now, I don't give a shit if you went to bed at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning and you wake up and you're tired. You do not take a nap because you're tired. Because what's that going to do? You're probably going to go to bed at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock the following night, or that night, and the following night, and the following night of that. And it's going to be a vicious circle because you haven't trained your body or your brain to be exceptionally tired where you have to go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock because you cannot function. So do not nap in the daytime because you're tired and because you had a late night. If you are willing to sacrifice those evenings that you need to go to bed early in, then you're going to have to sacrifice that nap, buddy. All right? So my third point, do more cardio. What is one of the most boring things that you can do within the fitness industry as a trainee? Well, weight training is pretty good. You can swap that up a lot. You can make it intense. You can change up the reps. You can do this, drop sets, supersets, 100 rep sets, DTP. You can do supersets, antagonistic, negatives, all of the above. But when it comes to cardio, man, you got 45 minutes that you got to stick it out on. And that doesn't matter if you're elliptical, if you're on the treadmill, if you're on the indoor bike or indoor rower. It's kind of boring. Okay, so what I suggest, if that is something that you find hard, difficult, that you can't wrap your head around, you do not have the discipline to stick it out, that is what you need to do. Do cardio every single day. Of course, it's great for your health, it's great for your heart, but it's even better for your brain because we tell ourselves, cardio is hard. It's hard to get up in the morning. It's hard to make these sacrifices. What's that telling you? It's telling you that you're soft. Plain and simple. You've become a product of this environment where everybody wants instant gratification. Everybody wants it gushy, comfy. So what do? You take the comfortable road and you go home early and you forget about your cardio. So what are you going to do? Do more cardio. Do cardio every single day, about 45 minutes. I don't care what your goal is. If you find that you do not have the discipline within you, you're going to have to create it by all of these little baby steps. So if you're on a mass building program, I don't give a shit. Do your 45 minutes cardio. If you've got to take in more calories to compensate for the amount that you've burned off, do it. I want you to go through boredom. I want you to learn to appreciate getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay, next one. Focus on your last 1 or 2 repetitions. How many people do you see going through the motions every week at the gym, doing their 8 to 12 reps or their 12 to 15 reps, and when they reach that 15th rep, they probably got a 16th or maybe a 17th. The majority of people that I've trained with or observed, they've always got 1 or 2 reps left in the tank, at least. And you know, climbing to Mount Everest base camp doesn't mean that you dominated or hit that summit. It's that last jolt is what matters. That's what your body is going to change from. If you put it into an environment that it's uncomfortable with, then what's it going to do? It has to adapt by evolving, becoming stronger, becoming fitter, becoming more separated, more defined. So that last rep, even if it feels like you cannot do it, chances are you can. And this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to think of somebody holding a gun to your head. And tell me then, do you feel that you could have got 1 more rep out? If the answer is yes, then you're not trying hard enough, okay? And that's just your body's or your brain's way of telling you, I'm weak, I need an excuse, it's hurting, I want to take the comfortable road again, and you stop short. So you're going to have to reevaluate and change your perception in order to get at that last 1 rep, because that is the rep that's going to count, okay? Now, I like to go into the sauna here every now and again. I've got a clear light infrared sauna here at home. Now, it would be very easy for me to get in there, and after 5 or 10 minutes, get out, maybe 15, because I start sweating pretty much straight away in that thing now. I've become a little bit more regulated to it. It gets hot. I like to have the temperature up as high as it goes. Here in the summer of Boise, when it's like 99 degrees outside, you can imagine how hot it is. But I make sure that I stick it out for 20 minutes. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. But much like exercise, when you are very uncomfortable, if you're doing high intensity interval work or if you're doing some intense weight training, it is uncomfortable, but it's the uncomfortable part of that HIIT training, of your weight training, that is the most beneficial to you. It's the same with the sauna. You will create more growth hormone release. Studies have proven that if you stick it out for like 20, 25 minutes, you can lower all-cause mortality by about 41 to 44%. Why? Because you have to get uncomfortable in order to gain the benefits. Much like having a nice bath. It's friggin' uncomfortable, but you can gain a lot of benefits. So I suggest if you're going to take the sauna, obviously regulate yourself. Make sure that you're not putting yourself in harm's way if you've got any heart problems or anything like that. But stick it out there. If go for the 20 minutes. If 20 minutes are very easy for you, then go for 25. It should be uncomfortable. And again, this is going to condition your resolve. It's going to condition your brain to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because when it gets uncomfortable, the majority of people these days take the easy way out. So going on to cold therapy, take a cold shower. You know what it's like when we get from the gym. We just feel like we want a big cuddle. We want a blanket. We want nurturing. Bullshit. Make sure that you do not get nurtured from that hot shower, that warm shower. You have a cold shower. Even if it's for 15 seconds to begin with. The next shower, the next day, 20 seconds. The next shower, the next day, 25 seconds. I like to get in there for my entire shower. Yes, I'll have shrinkage from it, but hey, there's nothing there anyway. But if you go in there, try to build up until you start having your entire shower in there. You wash from head to toe whilst under a cold shower tap. This is what's called blood shunting as well. It helps with heart conditioning, presuming that you do not have a heart problem. But more so than anything, I like to do it because, again, it helps me become more disciplined to not taking the comfortable way out. All these little tiny things have a transcendent approach to all the other things that I've listed. So take that cold shower. Now, we just came back from Hawaii and we flew economy. So if you are used to flying first class or maybe business class for a while, take the hit and fly economy. Do not get too comfortable up there. All couldn't change. But the thing is, as soon as you become comfortable, you become to expect more, and it can soften you. It can definitely soften you. So my suggestion to you is do what Kris Gethin does and fly economy. When we got to Hawaii, what did we do? We didn't get the flashiest car that was a soft top or that a roofless Mustang or a slingshot or anything that was there on the lot that was all nice and shiny that the marketing salesman tried to entice us to take. No, we took the very smallest, most basic car that they had. We called it our little bastard. So that was what it was on the holiday for us in Maui. We drove around in a little bastard, and it was perfectly fine. It got us from A, got us to B, halfway to C, but it was perfect. I really miss that little bastard. So again, don't get too comfortable having all the luxuries, all the air conditionings, all the mod cons, the electric mirrors. Take it to the basics, because remember that time before we had computers, before we had social networks, before we had mobile devices, iPads. Remember that? Every now and again, take yourself back to that, because those guys and girls from that generation were made of a harder cloth than us. Thankfully, I came from that sort of time, and I can appreciate people from back then, and I always want to take myself back there to a certain degree. Of course we want to advance, of course we want to evolve, but we don't want to lose our DNA because of our social environment that allows us to want everything yesterday. We want it delivered to our doors, we want it hung up for us, we want it polished for us, we want to have that big blanket because we're a little bit cold, we're a little bit hot. harden the F up and take yourself back to your roots. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have more discipline, and it's going to be easier for you to eat that bland food. It's going to be easier for you to wake up on time and dominate the day as you had set out for the day before. So when you are looking for success, when you're looking for that beautiful house, when you're looking for that nice car, when you're looking for all those adventures on holiday, you know what you have to do. You got to make sure you make those sacrifices every single day, because you will never, ever, ever find success otherwise. My name is Kris Gethin. If you like these podcasts, please do me a favor. Please send me a review or write a review and tell me. Go onto my social network. Go onto Kris Gethin, KrisGethin on Instagram, and let me know what subjects you would like me to cover in future podcasts. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great day. Get out there and make sacrifices. I'm Kris Gethin, and I'm out.